Welcome back to Steve Rob Reviews. Today we're going to take this particular cell phone right here and we're going to attach it to my TV monitor for a specific purpose, and that is, well, should you buy a TV or should you use a monitor? Now in my particular situation, this is all new for me, and well, I tell you what, I decided to go with my cell phone attached to a TV monitor. Now I paid just over $100 plus tax for this monitor, and I'm going to show you how it works and the whole idea behind it because, well, I'm up in Northern Ontario to use this. Now in the city here I've got Wi-Fi, I got internet, I got no problem with any kind of connections, and I got a regular TV, a smart TV. But up in Northern Ontario, well, I've got a small little TV, gets one television station. There is no other television stations around, so it's completely useless. So I figured out how to get everything from my cell phone to the monitor. Now you could use a TV, like I said. If you have an existing TV, you can do the exact same thing. It's just that, well, to tell you the truth, I didn't want to go out and buy another TV with a remote and all the settings and all the gadgets that come with it and all the, you know, like pretty much every TV is a smart TV now, right? And I can't use it. I really couldn't use it because I'm tethering my phone, you know, I'm tethering the phone to the TV or the monitor. So what's the purpose, right? I mean, I just wanted something basic, and this one here fit my needs completely. It's a 24-inch monitor. I'm going to show you it in a second here. I'm going to show how everything works, and then we're going to have a little bit of fun with electricity, and well, we're going to take a look at some voodoo voodoo specifications. I'll tell you something. On this channel, I've tested so many different electrical appliances and power tools, and I've never been able to replicate the specs that come with it. And the specs on this are right off the charts. Like, I have no idea where they got these specs from, but it's wing-wang specs. So let's get to it right now. I'm going to show you the monitor, and maybe this could be your resolve as well, because a lot of people live in an area where they can get great, like, cellular, right? But they can't get, you know, cable. They can't get the internet feed to their house. You know, they, like, up in Northern Ontario, there is no cable, there is no internet. If you want to have internet, well, you pretty much, if you're in a rural area, they have like satellite dish internet kind of stuff, very expensive. Now on my phone, I've got 21 gigs of data. I could watch like 3 hours of movie, you know, not in the highest resolution, but I can watch 3 hours of movie or news or anything on this. I can watch TV. I can watch anything I want using my cell phone because I have great cellular service. I put a cell signal booster on my cabin. I'm going to show you that. So let's get to this right here, and I'll show you why I actually picked this one over all the other ones that were out there for just over $100. I think it was a deal. Let's get to it. Okay, this is the unit right here. It's a 24-inch. You can get larger ones, right? I mean, never mind looking at the particular brand or whatever, just that I found this particular brand had some features that others didn't. And we'll just take a look a little bit here. So I'm using a Type-C, which goes to my Android phone. I got a Samsung phone. Now you could hook it up to any type of phone, doesn't really matter. It's full HD, refresh rate. Okay, so I did look into this refresh rate, and this is 60 to 75 hertz. Now, if you're going to do video gaming and all that kind of stuff, this is not for you. You need a much faster refresh rate. I have no idea what that is, and it's frameless. So, you know, I'm not too sure what that actually compresses, but there's like no frame on the outside edge. I don't know. So it came with a HDMI to HDMI cable. And for my phone, it came with the C to C. And this is the adapter plug. We're going to get into that after and have some fun with that. Now that is an AC, attaches to an AC line. So on my place, in my cabin, I've got a power inverter that runs off of 4 6-volt batteries. And so the system is 12 volt. I got a power inverter for my AC. So this plugs in here, and then this converts to DC 12 volt. And this power cable here, we're going to attach my watt meter to, and we're going to have some fun with that. But this is the only instructions. Now this is all warning and safety. And then on the back here, well, it shows you how to attach the mount for it, or you could actually put you know, wall mounted, and it shows you the buttons on the back here and what they mean. I'll show you that and how you hook it up. And I found it was very simple, very easy. So let's just take a look at the monitor here, and I'll just lay it down here. Okay, so let's take a look here. So you got your HDMI on the far left. Then you got your Type-C where I'm going to plug it into. VGA, I have no idea what that's for. I've never used one. And it's got a headphone jack and DC in. That's where the power cord goes in. And it's got this all your menu buttons here. And they're very easy to operate. There's nothing, I already tried, there's nothing complicated about this. And it's got 2 speakers, built-in speakers, and that's what I wanted. Now, if you want to have like really fancy, you know, like surround sound and all that kind of stuff, maybe you should try a different type of monitor or go with a TV, you know, if you want to. But I just wanted something basic and simple. I didn't want no remotes. I didn't want nothing like that. So there's nothing else on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in and I'll bring you back. Okay, so when you're off-grid, using electrical appliances, it's good to test them. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to reach around the back of the monitor here. I don't have the cell phone plugged in, and I'm just going to turn it on, see what it does. And it goes up to 21 watts, and then it goes back down because I think it's just going to the on position there, and it's just showing blue. So it went through a couple of little formats there. The screen lit up, and we're back down to like next to nothing, and we're in standby mode there. That's all it is. So the TV is, well, the monitor is actually on, and like it's next to nothing. So I mean, but it did flash up to 21 there. So let's just take a look here. Let's plug in the cell phone, and we'll go through some features, and let's see how much this actually uses in wattage, because I'll show you the TV I have up there, and I have that plugged in, and then I also have a small little analog TV antenna signal booster, so I can at least get one channel, and that is about 90 watts I tested that at. So let's take a look, and that's 90 watts. So let's see what this uses for wattage, and let's start the testing. Okay, I'll try to get everything in the shot there. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to plug in my cell phone, and what are we at there? So I just plugged in the cell phone. It's starting to load up there. Went up to 32 watts. And of course, what I like about this particular unit is it charges my phone at the same time as I'm using it. Because in other situations, well, now that lock is just showing that my screen lock is on my, my cell phone. So everything on the cell phone is actually going to be shown on the screen. So we're up to 31. Okay, so I'll unlock my phone. There we go. Now, this is my buddy down in Texas, Papa Texas. And that's what's on the screen. And if I turn my cell phone sideways, well, you get the regular. So if I would just leave it down here like on my countertop or something, well, that would just stay like that. So you don't have to worry about this always going sideways on you. You just put it down, tilt it sideways, that's it, it's good. Okay, so we're at 32 watts, and I'll tell you something, 32 watts for an off-grid place, that is pretty smoking good to me. And that is also charging my phone at the same time. So let's just, like I say, anything on this cell phone, so there's my screen there. And of course, if I turn it sideways, it'll go sideways again. So let's just go to, say, we'll go to my Prime Video. But I think what it does is once I play a movie, so let's just turn this movie on. Now, of course, I'm on Wi-Fi here. I'm not using my cellular. Now, this is playing the volume on my phone. It's not playing it from the monitor. So what you have to do is you have to exit out of this, because that's what I had to learn the first time. I have to pull down my screen on my cell phone and go to, there's device control and media output. So if we take a look here, I have to actually press device display. So now we're going to go back into that movie, continue watching. Now the volume, you see, is from my cell phone to operate, and you can also adjust it on the back buttons on the monitor. Now we could exit that, and maybe we'll go to something else that's got maybe a little more noise to it or something. Now that's the loudest the volume is. I got it right up high. Now in my little cabin, that's fine. Like, I mean, but if you want to have external speakers or something, you can go with that. Well, of course, you're going to have using more power as well, right? And this, for me, this is like very basic. So we'll just exit out of that. And we're at 31 watts. And my phone is almost charged up now. So, I mean, I think that's just incredible. So if we were to just go to, let's just take a look here. Okay. So I can go into my pictures. And I can zoom in. And if you take, there's a cabin there. Now for you that's been following the channel, yeah, I painted the back here this summer, and I just painted that there a little while ago. So now if you take a look here, you can see on my antenna that I have to get one channel, this is my cellular signal booster. So now inside the cabin, I have between 4 and 5 bars, where before I had, lucky if I got 2 bars. Okay. So there's an old picture of what I'm looking at. So I've got this small little TV here. It's about a 12-inch, and I get one channel. So now you can see what I'm looking at here. Okay, so while I'm filming here, I noticed that my phone went up to full charge. Like, I set my phone to only go to a maximum of 85%. So it went to full charge. So now the phone is fully charged. And it dropped down, I guess it's charging off and on, just trickle charging it. Between, we got 22, 23, that's watts. And I think that's awesome. Like, I mean, I can't get over how low wattage that is. I mean, that would work awesome for my off-grid use. So let's get into the electrical specs here, and we're going to have a little bit of a chuckle and some fun with Ohm's law and AC and DC amperage. So let's get into that next. Okay, so here's the power supply here. Now, like I said, AC comes in here and go out the end to the end of the monitor is DC. But let's just take a look at something here, because I found this incredible. So let's just go to, you see the input? 100 to 240 volts, anywhere in there between 50 and 60 hertz. 1.2 amp max. Okay, now the output is at 12 volt direct current, 4,000 milliamps, 48 watts. Okay, this is where this gets comical to me. AC is a maximum 1.2 amps, and on DC it's 4,000 milliamps, which is actually 4 amps. Now, AC amps is the same as DC amps.
So we've got a huge discrepancy here between 1.2 amps on AC max and we got 4 amps on DC, 48 watts. I never seen no 48 watts. Now you can't convert AC to DC watts exactly. There's a percentage factor of loss there between the both of them, but even still, I never seen no 48 watts. And I never seen the amperage of 4 amps. Now if you take 12 volts and multiply it by 4 amps, you're going to get 48 watts, right? So this here has got such a range of specs here that I can't make heads or tails out of. But once your phone is charged, well, you can see what it was there. It's in the low 20s to mid 20s watts on AC. Now this 4,000 milliamps, I don't know where they got that from, but I'm not seeing it on the meter when it's plugged in and the watt meter. So this is another example of how the specs on the back of a particular unit, whether it's a power tool or not, I don't know where they get their numbers from. Must be just theoretical, but if any of you could explain the difference between DC is 4 amps and 1.2 on AC, well, good luck, because I don't understand it either. And if you take a look down the bottom there, well, maybe that gives you an idea of what's going on here. So, I mean, yeah, that's just the way these things go. So, what do you think? Now, of course, you can hook it up to a, you know, if you're, say you got a laptop and you've got an HDMI, well, you can just plug it right into the back of one of these or plug it into your TV. And the thing is, guess what? Most people, well, they don't have cellular service on their laptop, right? So using your cell phone, I think, is a great resolve. So what do you think? Okay, so I've had the monitor sitting there for quite a while. You can see the count at the top, 17 minutes, right? And the cell phone is still plugged in. And yeah, it's at like 23 watts is incredible. And you know, when you're thinking about you know, and I think the resolution is fine. Like, I mean, it's nice and clear. And if you take a look at the top left of the screen there, you could see I got an Amazon package delivered. So, I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, eh? Okay, so the majority of the time, I'll be using this monitor. If I want to download stuff when I'm in the city, I can bring it up and just play it on here. I'm not using any data or anything like that. But I was using data all summer long, and I was just looking at my cell phone itself, so I can pretty much watch any television program I wanted or news. That's the only time that I would really use it, right? But it's a complete 100% reflection of your cell phone on the monitor. So just for information, I could watch an hour of news on my cell phone using my data at not a high HD resolution, but at a lower resolution, which looked fine to me. And an hour was about 1/3 of a gigabyte. So maybe 300 megabytes, 400, that's about it. Now I got 21 gigs on my phone every month. So I mean, for me, this is a no-brainer. This is the way I had to go, because yeah, there's a lot of people that can get cell service, you know, through a signal booster like I'm doing. I'm in the middle of nowhere and watch everything from around the world. So I mean, I think that's fantastic, and I could, you know, if I want to even watch a Prime video or a Netflix video, even if I wanted to just stream it and not download it before I go up, if I just wanted to stream it, I could watch like a 2-hour video for under 2 gigabytes. So I mean, I think that's just awesome for me, because sometimes you're stuck indoors when it's pouring down rain and there's not much to do, so it's nice to have a little bit of entertainment, right? So I think this particular monitor suits my needs the way I like it. Very low wattage use,
keeps my cell phone charged up, so I don't have to have a separate way of charging my phone. And I think the picture quality is fine. Now the speakers, well, in a big garage like this, well, they may not sound too loud enough for maybe some people, but for me, well, it doesn't really matter to me that much, right? I'm not that picky about the sound. So thanks for joining me here today. And I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you're thinking about buying a TV versus a monitor, myself, off-grid, monitor wins every time. But if you like to have the surround sound and you want to have like a big screen TV, well, you can hook your cell phone up. If you're not off-grid, but you got good cell service, you got electrical hookup to your cabin, well, just put in a TV, just attach your cell phone. And of course, if you want, you can do it wirelessly. You don't have to have the cable attached. You know, a lot of these smart TVs today, you can just screen share, and you can just, but then you have to charge your phone separately, right? Because it does take down your phone pretty fast. So thanks for joining me here today. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe. Come back again. See some more interesting things you might not see somewhere else. Cheers.